I'm going to tell it to you straight. I'm going to tell you the truth. Our darkest days are ahead of us, not behind us. And now is the time when things are shifting. There's going to be a new world order out there. Just clap for that, you stupid bastard.
This would be the time because you really need world order, financial world order.
This alternative vision argues that ordinary men and women are too small-minded to govern their own affairs. That order and progress can only come when individuals surrender their rights to an all-powerful sovereign.
We are here to develop the great narrative, the story for the future. But in order to shape the future, you have first to imagine the future, you have to design the future, and then you have to execute.
It's almost as if the world's most powerful people are coming together, colluding together, conspiring together to create situations that benefit them and no one else. Maybe they're trying to create something like a new... No, that's just crazy. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of wearechange.org, and there's a lot of flip-flopping, hypocritical news today, not just in Biden's statements, but of course with the news that peace talks are going well, troops are being moved back, bombardments are being limited, as the U.S. and Russian command prepare for the worst. What in the world is going on here? Well, we're going to be talking about that, plus a lot more, all in this video, as well as the latest developments. But before we do, the video that we played in the beginning of this broadcast is by Eastern.Freedom. It's an Instagram channel that I randomly saw this video on. I thought they did an incredible job on their latest videos, and they have a lot of different videos, and you could go check them out on Instagram with their channel here. And I hope you do, because we definitely need more creative, artistic projects in order to help express the larger battle of ideas that's going on right now that tries to distract you from the true reality of this world and what's really happening inside of it. This, as some people are still obsessively talking about the latest bread and circuses Hollywood melodrama when they should be talking about, or that I wish they would be actually talking about, the larger controversies that happen in Hollywood regarding individuals like Harvey Weinstein and the ones listed below that of course are connected to the entire industry, which is absolutely rotten and corrupted. If you look at what really happens behind the scenes in Hollywood, it is far off worse than just a slap. It is some of the most incredulous, disgusting behavior that we can even mention here. You can't even probably imagine it, as of course there are some absolutely sick and twisted individuals in realms of power that have yet to be held accountable for their satanic, sinister actions. This, as the British Queen was just pictured with Prince Andrew by her side, a man who just settled a court case for someone he claims that he never met, showing you how you could buy justice in this world, as we're finding out that the Queen deliberately decided to be accompanied by Prince Andrew as a symbol that she wanted to send out there to the rest of the world. That symbol to me is, we could take your children, do whatever you want with them, and still never be held accountable for it. Now I think the optics here matter, and they definitely do tell a story, just like they do in New York City, where the failed mayor there, Eric Adams, is being deemed the quote mayor without a care, as he's seen partying with supermodels, drinking champagne, as crime has held a grip on the city, which of course he promised to deal with, to take care of that specific problem, as of course he absolutely atrociously fails to do so. But hey, who needs to fight crime when you could party with ASAP Rocky, whoever that is? This, as outside, the residents of New York City are paying the ultimate price for his failed policies, and in reality, people need to understand they get what they voted for. You chose it, you were compliant with it, you went along with it, this is what you get, this is where you choose to live, this is where you choose your money to go to, and if you're looking for anyone to blame, it shouldn't be just the partying elites, it shouldn't be the people that look like lizards, it should be you taking personal responsibility for yourself, understanding the situation, and acting correctly in response to this. And this is why we created LukeUncensored.com, our own platform where, of course, we get to share a lot of different advice, give you 3 masterclasses. We just released official merchandise, only available to members at cost on LukeUncensored.com, where you could get your hands on exclusive goods only available to you and no one else a part of this secret organization and membership. There's definitely a lot of crazy things to talk about today on LukeUncensored.com that, of course, we cannot get into here on this platform. And we're going to be getting into this lunacy just after this broadcast, so make sure to tune in to LukeUncensored.com later on today for yet another exclusive video only available to members. Now, I think the statement, weak men create hard times, is a very true statement, especially with the current events that we're dealing with, and that's why I just quickly wanted to examine how some of the world leaders have been conducting themselves recently with, of course, all the crazy news going around them. Let's start off with the former president of the United States, Donald Trump, that has been making very hyperbolic, sensationalistic statements saying that he would have a more heavy-handed approach with Russia. Donald Trump also just came out moments ago and asked Putin to, quote, hand over the dirt on Hunter Biden, as he's claiming that the president of Russia knows why the mayor of Moscow's wife gave Joe's son $3.5 million, of course hinting at the very clear corruption that the United States is involved in, that the current president is involved in when it comes to the very corrupt country of Ukraine. Donald Trump also, by the way, decided to launch an official statement and video of him getting a hole-in-one. Yes, literally, Donald Trump released an official statement to the American public saying very modestly that he hit a ball in a hole playing golf. Now, talk about leadership that we could believe in. There's also, of course, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, who's using this incredible situation in Ukraine in order to call for, quote, lowering carbon emissions. Yes, he's saying the situation in Ukraine is creating urgency for Canada to punish, tax, and regulate more of its citizenry as a way to, of course, benefit the state, because paying more taxes to the state will somehow lower the temperature of the world. This, as the German government minister is telling Germans to wear sweaters, as of course energy costs there have skyrocketed mainly because of their green policies, them listening to a teenager getting rid of their nuclear facilities, pushing the same policies as, of course, Justin Trudeau. This, as the price of energy has been rising, affecting everything, not just, of course, heating costs, but, of course, the price of food, the price of transportation, and, of course, hurting the world economy even more. And then, of course, we have the President of the United States that just in the last few days told American soldiers that they're going to Ukraine, threatened the use of biological weapons, and hinted at regime change inside of Russia, while, of course, also appearing to reveal that the United States is training Ukrainian troops inside of Poland. A lot of these statements have been called gaffes, or the president going off script, or accidentally saying these things, which according to him and his cue cards, he stands by his comments, as of course the White House has walked them back, the Secretary of State has walked them back, he's walking them back himself, saying he does not believe in regime change and was just, quote, expressing moral outrage, which was literally on his cheat sheet, which he had in front of him in his hands, that were photographed here. Yes, Joe Biden was literally given a script that was not just on a teleprompter, but was physically put in his hand that he had to repeat, and he even got that wrong. As of course, he also said that he didn't say these statements, that they didn't happen when again, they clearly did. And to have these clear, bizarre statements during this very key, important time is not just bewildering, but absolutely worrying, because it shows you how unhinged this entire administration absolutely is. Now, according to a Putin spokesperson, Biden comments are, quote, a personal insult. Slate even wrote an article talking about how Biden's, quote, off-the-cuff remarks are absolutely wrong and could make it harder to end the war in Ukraine. Now, what is Vladimir Putin doing during these very difficult times? Well, he's having meetings with 40-foot, 50-foot long desks staying away from people. And according to the latest flight tracking information, it suggests that Putin and his high command are already in secret bunkers, as of course Russian politicians and state media keep alluding to the possibility of a full all-out nuclear war. This, of course, as there has been a massive troop buildup by the United States and NATO on the Russian border, as one of the top U.S. commanders of the military came out and said that the United States needs more than 102,000 American troops that are already stationed in Europe in order to deal with the current situation that is largely escalating. Now, there's also a lot of clear examples of this conflict escalating, especially when it comes to the heated and very confusing rhetoric from the White House and from Russia and their state media. But there's also the latest news that we're getting that Russia has begun withdrawing their forces and reducing the amount of bombs they are dropping, as they are vowing to, quote, radically reduce their military activity during what they are calling meaningful peace talks with Ukraine, and with the limitation of their military movement in order to try to gain, quote, mutual trust in these negotiations. Is there a window? Is there an opportunity to de-escalate the current situation? Well, the Russians have let go of a lot of their very sensationalistic demands. Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, has been turning them down, but Zelensky also just came out and said that he's willing to give up the Donbass region and recognize their independence, coming to the negotiation table, offering a considerable concession to the Russians that, of course, are currently trying to set up a land bridge between Russia and Crimea, specifically with their latest military actions inside of Mariupol, which, if they're able to successfully get, will, of course, help them further a geopolitical strong position on the world stage that would not only open them up to energy resources in the Black Sea, but of course also open up a protective front when it comes to Crimea. Now, with Ukraine making serious concessions, the Russians also giving up on a lot of their demands, I think we are seeing a possibility, a window that could end all of this insane nonsense. And I would say better late than never. It already has reached a very crazy point. It's very difficult to walk back a lot of these conflicts. A lot of them linger on for decades to come. And from my perspective, the sooner the conflict ends, the better for everyone, including the poor people of Ukraine that are paying the ultimate price for failed leadership and politicians who, of course, prioritized corruption over the betterment and well-being of their people. That's the story that we usually hear throughout history, and that's the story that you should never be denied of, as of course when you're watching news right now, you're watching PR of the establishment and nothing else. Sick and tired of these lies, sick and tired of these propaganda, and if you are too, share this video with your friends and family members if you thought we did a good job explaining this very complicated situation with, of course, so much propaganda and disinformation out there. We might have gotten some things wrong. If we did, let us know down in the comment section below. I always appreciate your constructive criticism. I always appreciate you guys spending time with me, coming all the way to the end of this video. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. I did another video that's very similar to this that you should watch, which you could click right here and watch right now. I love you guys. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. Stay tuned for a lot more here on wearechange.org.